that concern me and affect the committee that I'm chair of, Ag, Water, Energy, Sustainability, have to do with home rule, and where basically the state legislators are saying you shall have no control or no authority whatsoever. And these things pop up and they happen and they're going on, and it's not like what you're saying. So I just want to know how I can, do you have any suggestions, or perhaps we can think about it, how we coordinate a little bit better. I don't want to spend my money feeling I've got to go over there and deal with it, and I don't even know which things that HSAC is dealing with and which ones they're not.
Ms. Willie, we can let's discuss that. Let me give it some thought.
Really appreciate that.
I'll get with Mr. Onishi, hear you out also, and then we can come up with something.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And just to let Councilwoman Willie know is that HSAC, well, council did vote on the previous council did vote on a package, okay, which was I think like 5 or 6 different items. So that's where all the different counties is in support of these certain resolutions that we sent to the legislature, and that's how the process is.
Right.
Yeah.
But the reality, as you said, is the legislation is there. It changes. Suddenly there's something that says the counties will have absolutely no authority having anything to do with ag, water, energy. All of a sudden there it is, and here we are sitting here feeling like, what relevancy do we have? You know, so I'm just trying to get this open so we brainstorm and think about it. How can we be more informed and maybe have more impact?
Ms. Ford, you want to make a comment?
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to add a little bit to this discussion because I support Ms. Willie's position in this. Mr. Sheeta, sometimes, you know, in our hopefully in an abundance of caution, we're not communicating more than 2 people out of all 9 of us on a particular issue. But when it comes to the HSAC and the NACO and the WEIR, we've got to give Mr. Onishi information that we want him to carry to those organizations. For instance, if I were to say today, absolutely do not support anything that denies home rule to the individual counties, and I would hope that he would do that. However, if we don't say that in a public venue, the only thing I can do is grab him in the hall or send him an email. Well, everybody else might be doing the same thing, and now we've got a sunshine law problem, because ultimately we're going to vote on this stuff.
You know, Ms. Ford, I don't necessarily agree that under the scenario that you just proposed, that would be a sunshine law problem. Again, what OIP has said, it has to be, for a matter to be board business, it can't just be something, thoughts out there. It has to be what's called a discrete proposal. There must be actually legislation pending. In other words, if the council had legislation, a bill, resolution on its agenda pending, that dealt with maybe the home rule issue, what you talked about, then I think it is a matter of board business. And under the scenario that you described, that would create a sunshine law problem. However, right now, nothing's pending. So if you all wanted to do that, I don't think that would be a problem. You know, again, it's a recognition that just because you could potentially be called upon to vote on something in the future doesn't necessarily create a present sunshine law problem. It's only if there's actually what they call a discrete proposal, something that's basically in writing, on the books, on a future agenda, getting ready to vote on.
All right. Let me ask the question a little bit differently. This particular communication, 10.2 is what we're discussing. It's the minutes coming back. Perhaps each time we have a meeting on governmental relations, Mr. Onishi or somebody, he's the chair, I'm asking him to do this, he could put on a separate communication, just a group discussion on issues that we would like to discuss about to go to NACO or HSAC. if we just had something that broad, so it was be an open discussion, any one of us could pop up and say home rule, and I could say TAT, and somebody else could say something else. That would be, in my opinion, kind of an abundance of caution that as a group we could have a discussion on an issue that may not be actually agendized as TAT or something else.
Ms. Ford, can I interrupt you one fast?
Sure.
Okay. If you guys look on page 4, okay, on the minutes. So what happened in G was that I did do a reso from the Hawaii County in support of the Hawaii Health System Corporation's primary care training program. Okay, and we all voted on that.
Right.
And then what I did is I took that same reso and I took it to HSAC and I proposed that. So that's why we had Boyd Moriyama guys come in and do a presentation to HSAC, so that I wanted HSAC, the members of the different counties, in support of that. But what I did is I go to the county first, to Hawaii County, we do a reso, we get the discussion, we get the support, then I went on to HSAC to get their support. And by all that time, the reso that we passed during the Hawaii County Council went straight to the legislature, and then now I'm trying to get HSAC to back that up, because this primary care also takes care of Maui and Kauai.
Yes.
And so that's why I wanted them to get involved. And so that's what I did. And so I don't know if that would be the better way to get things done. So if they had any issues, out of councilman, they could do the same, correct? Mr. Ishida?
That's one possibility.
Yeah.
When do you get the minutes? Are they circulated before this meeting, or?
Yeah.
They come on the
On the board. It's on the board. But then, see, I think too, this thing goes online, because I remember doing, this is like when my first term, I had put on the agenda about discussion about legalizing gambling, and it was held in Kona, and had some people came to testify opposing that discussion or against gambling. So it's online somehow with HSAC. They put it online of what's happening.
Is HSAC a sunshine board? They comply with sunshine?
Yes, correct.
They have to, or they just choose to?
No, I think they have to, I think.
Then how come?
Okay. I gotta look at this. I gotta think of a way.
Okay.
But let me know your concerns, Miss Willie or Miss Ford or anyone, and we can work something out.
Man, just
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Ford, for interrupting.
that was fine.
Yeah, okay.
But what you're describing is what Lincoln has said is a discrete piece of legislation, because it came up as a resolution to the board. I guess what both Margaret and I are asking for, if it's possible, is to have just a general discussion, just be able to say in front of the whole group, so we can talk to Mr. Onishi as a group and say, hey, we think the TAT should be changed, or, we could do a communication on every single thought we have, but I'm sure that is not as efficient as just being able to sit here and have a discussion on issues for HSAC or something. Now, unfortunately, if we just have a general discussion, it doesn't tell the public exactly what each one of us will discuss, and I understand that to be somewhat of a problem. But at the same time, I have to agree with Margaret, some of this stuff coming up in front of the state is just killing us and we can't respond quickly enough.
Yeah.
So that would be my suggestion. Thank you.
Go ahead, Miss Willie. I'm here.
Yeah. Part of the problem is how these things come up, and that you're basically being governed by a package from the previous council as your orientation. And I'm at the point where I feel like, okay, I guess I have to write something up on each individual item. I mean, one thing that we voted on, and it's done, I feel I can say something about it, is say like the High Five program. We voted to encourage that, right? Now, however, there's whatever the state does, we're just sitting here waiting. We don't know. I don't know whether they're working on it, not working on it. So it really does. I'm trying to look at a way to deal with this that's other than Margaret taking every item that's significant to me and feeling I need to write something up in order to have an adult conversation about it as a group with Mr. Onishi. And at what point do I, as an individual, say, this is an area that I have a lot of knowledge about, and maybe I should go over to Honolulu Anyway, I feel a lot of the decisions right now are charting our future for decades and what happens where agreements are made that, in particular on home rule issues. So I would appreciate any ideas anybody has how we can do this in the most efficient way, given the time limits. You say that they're covered by
I think
the
that's
sunshine rule, but yet if they can come out with their agenda just a day or two before.
It's 7 days, right? Mr. Shida,
they
you
do
need 7 days, right?
Yeah, when you said that they're doing it 7 days, that's probably to comply with the 6-day sunshine filing.
Okay.
So it sounds like, from what you're saying, they are a sunshine board, but I can verify that also.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussions? Hearing or seeing none. All those in favor of closing communication 10.2 say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Okay, this meeting is closed. Thank you.
We will, as soon as we get the word, we'll start the Public Safety and Mass Transit Committee. Nora, just let me know.